Hi all, and firstly I want to say Happy New Year to everybody, and thank you for the support that you've given my channel over the last year, and wishing everybody a Happy New Year as well. I think 2026 is going to be an interesting year. Of course, things I'm looking forward to is the continued endeavours of the UAP hearings, which will likely continue to give us absolutely nothing in wealth or value in regarding any form of disclosure. What we'll probably get is more pilot sightings, more whistleblowers. Do you know what? We don't need any more, to be honest with you. You know, I know the phenomenon exists, so get over it, guys. What we want is the Reddies. What we want is the true aspects of this phenomenon, what it represents. And I'm tired of hearing things being done, documentaries or information being put out where it has, and I found out, it has been limited. It has been parts of it anyway, that has been not disclosed. So it's a controlled form of non-disclosure, in a sense of speaking. We're just getting this narrative. UFOs, crashes, and materials. That's it. Goes much deeper than that, as you probably are aware in regarding our work. But they're never going to talk about that. We have the Vatican preparing for something allegedly, which probably won't happen. We have rumours in the background that this year we're going to get disclosure and da 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 da. 2026 is the year. No. And even more laughable, that President Trump is going to be the guy that's going to deliver the disclosure. I don't think so. So, yeah, that's one of the things I'm looking forward to. Something else I'm looking forward to is Chris Bledsoe being wrong about anything taking place in April of 2026 or Easter. How many times has this happened before? Where did Chris Bledsoe get his information from? NHI. And of course they always tell the truth, don't they? If we can go back years and years of impending doom that has been passed information on to experiences from NHI, which came and went, and nothing happened. That the Galactic Federation are going to be coming down from the skies in their giant motherships once and for all. I don't think so. Even when people have said it's going to happen on Saturday. I'm telling you, it's going to happen on Saturday. And you find out, well, it didn't happen on Saturday. What happened? And when you ask them, well, they contacted me, said that it wasn't the right time, or they couldn't do it. Shit me head in it. Honestly, there has been hundreds, if not thousands, of cases where this has happened. And Chris Bledsoe is just going to be another one. You mark my words. Come Easter, guys, 2026 this year, around about April. Don't be surprised if zero happens, because that's what I believe will be the case yet again. So, hey, I'd love something to happen. Don't get me wrong. I just know how this phenomenon operates. And unfortunately, that's the way it goes. I'm looking forward also to another deep space interstellar comet that might pass by Earth, where everybody thinks that it's a giant UFO and it's heading to Earth and it's going to be awakening for us, or it's something of impending doom. It's going to crash into the planet and destroy us all. Yeah, it went past us and carried on. I mean, come on. I mean, you know what? Yes, I'm not going to dismiss the fact that there were anomalies in regarding the 3i Atlas, and that it's the first time we've ever seen a comet act this way. But we don't get many of these interstellar comets, and now we've got specialized technology. you know, that can really look at these things and go, "Ooh, wow, this is different. We don't see anything like that before." It doesn't mean it's an interstellar extraterrestrial craft on its way to rendezvous with planet Earth. So, anyway, let's see if we have any more in 2026 that suddenly pop out from behind the sun, go past, and back out into space. And of course, I'm looking forward to Steven Spielberg's movie D-Day, or Disclosure Day as we refer to it, which is going to be the summer blockbuster release this year in cinemas. And I am actually going to go to the cinema to see this. I don't normally, but I am actually going to go to the cinema and see this because I'm intrigued as what angle is Mr. Spielberg going to be taking, and has it got any aspects to what the phenomena truly represents? Does he know any further information from the days of Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Who knows? But it's going to be an interesting time. So I'll be off to the cinema to see that. And of course, the release of information that I'm going to be helping with this year regarding quantum imaging, visual data that has been caught that we don't see with a naked eye or certain types of equipment, things that are maybe around us that we're unaware of. And I have to admit, some of it is quite startling from what I've seen. I'm going to be hopefully releasing some information this year, and I've been in talks with people about that, and that should be very interesting, and I'm sure you'll find it absolutely fascinating, where quantum imaging technology reveals things beyond our comprehension and understanding. We have to really start to question about the simulated reality that we may be living in. So, of course, there's all the other little goodies that I'm sure will pop up over 2026. UFOs aren't going anywhere. People will still record them in the dozens, if not more, from various different countries all over the world. And there'll be some, obviously, within that category, intelligent life forms, plasma, lights, intelligent, seen in the skies. So it tends to be seen more regularly than structured crafts now. It's kind of switched around a little bit. Last year, I probably saw around about 30, maybe UFOs, maybe more. Some I recorded, some I photographed. And of course, it was an opportunity in 2024, around about October, that I did manage to, for the first time, have some difference between the video recording that I had of a craft that I was seeing in the sky over our house, which the camera only showed a ball of light, which is very intriguing. So was our eyes, because I wasn't the only person to see it, fooling us? Was the phenomena projecting an archetype of the craft, and it really was just a ball of light? Are we saying that is more like the true face of the phenomena? Maybe, who knows? Or is it the other way around, that it is a craft, and cell phones, not just mine, were being manipulated to not being able to show the craft? Either way, it's the first time that's happened to me. I heard of witnesses who that's happened to, and they've contacted me and talked to me about it, but I experienced it firsthand. Also, I'm going to be releasing some of the conclusive work that we reached within Project Doorway with myself and Barry Fitzgerald, because the whole point of Project Doorway was 10 years, which travelled all over the world, and the idea was to see if we could gain evidential data of electron diffusion regions, or portals, you might say. I don't like the word portals, but electron diffusion regions being utilised by the phenomenon. And we got it. And we got it big style. So I'm going to be releasing that this year, in regarding what we obtained, what we filmed, what we caught, and the evidence of this electron diffusion region. That's going to be interesting, so I'm going to be sharing that as well. So I just want to thank you all, and in this video, which is it's a sneak peek of a conversation that I had with my good friend Kathy Cogliano and a gentleman called Alex Lovelock, who put a show together called The Lady and the Maverick podcast. It's actually quite good. And it was quite an interesting conversation I had. So this is only a sneak peek, guys, but the video itself, the discussion is probably over 2 hours. So I will be putting a link underneath this video that you can click on and go and watch the full show. Go and watch the full 2 hour version, because there's be lots more in there that you'll find fascinating about this particular discussion I had. But as I said, this is just a sneak peek. But please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. And also, there's something which I learned in 2024. I'm always learning something. Hypes. Apparently, you can hype videos, 3 a week, in fact, from a cell phone. And you bring up the video, and you underneath the video you can scroll left, and you'll see a thing called hype, and you can click it, and it hypes the video. That's something new. It took me a while to get my head around that, because I'm pretty old school. Everybody was talking about hype, and I was thinking, what is hype? What the hell are they talking about? But yes, and I want to thank everybody who's done that with my videos, hyping them, helping. We have to also be aware that, it's always going to be a struggle, this channel, because it's just not user-friendly information that I don't think YouTube really like and put adverts across. It is suppressed. I know that, or shadow banding, you might refer to in some cases. But do you know what? I continue to put the information out, and this is the place where we're going to be putting it. I have a number of projects I want to move forward with this year with my good friend and colleague Nathaniel Gillis, and it's going to be some interesting stuff coming up. I'm going to take people to the next level in regarding what non-human intelligence could actually consist of, its capabilities and limitations, which isn't many, I assure you. So big thank you to everybody, and hope you enjoyed the video, and I will be back with you soon. Thank you again. With the seances that we were doing, is that we always had to, when we finish, we always have to close it down, and then we have to, next time we've got to start up. It's like an old engine, you got to you got to wind it up,
crank
get it
going
up again, and then you got to close it down, But once we got NHI communication, it didn't act like that. The principles of seance communication is not like the same as NHI. NHI is like a phone; it's off the hook. So we can't close it down because we don't have the control once NHI is involved. So they're in control. We're not in control.
Okay.
So there's no closing down process. You might think you might close it down. You're not actually doing anything. As soon as you go back to the next, to communicate again, they're there straight away. It's like a waiting on the phone line. It's like it's just off the hook. They're always there. You don't have to build it up. It's instant in that type of communications. And then we ended up in a series of experiments in regarding, once we'd established communications and the levels of communications through the different types of archetypes and beings, which there are, because it seems to be a hierarchy, you might say, of these intelligences. Some of them are really no mess about, like they come in and tell you as it is, and very authoritatively.
Wow.
It was fascinating, though.
I'll say, that kind of brings me to, I wanted to ask you in regards to a mutual friend, Ray Hernandez, and his concept, Steve, of contact modalities and what that encompasses, because it pretty much encompasses every part of what NHI is when you get down to it. It goes from, obviously it's non-human intelligence, but it goes from, the conscious aerial phenomenon, NDEs, OBEs, astral travel, spirit communication, hallucinogenic uses, clairvoyancy, mediumship, channeling. So it's just, do you agree with that can be all under that umbrella of NHI?
I understand what you're saying. I see it as a 3-domain process
Mm.
initially,
Hmm.
and that is this our living world and reality that we understand, and the non-physical world, the afterlife or whatever. And in the
The
middle,
spirit realm,
you
would you
could say
say?
the spirit
Okay.
realm,
Yeah. Hmm.
but in the middle is efforts from both sides. So, in other words, to jump into the middle where we can come together is through the process of altered states of consciousness, out of body, near death,
Hmm.
astral traveling, those sort of things,
Yeah.
heightened intuition, those sort of things. However, the phenomena can also step into that area and interact with us, you see. So
Okay.
there's like this area where there's a mix up of all these different types of experiences through different mechanisms. But the overall thing is that they are all some form of altered state that they're in.
Yes.
So, but if you really go further than that, that top level, which is the number three, you could say, which is that domain, their domain, that is even a bit like an onion. There's different layers to that as well, and different intelligences that seem to operate in certain given areas. So I'd say, I mean, Ray was probably one of the first people to come up with the term about the modalities,
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
and I've known him for quite some time, and and he said, when he had this experience when he was sat on the freeway and suddenly was out of his body, he was in some type of place which was moving around, images of moving around. And I asked him, I said, I'm talking years now, going back. I said, what was it, Ray? You were seeing the images. He says it was like all the archetypes, but all the different types of aliens and even Bigfoot and all sorts of things, all moving around in a carousel in front of me. And I
God.
said, yeah, so it's like, okay. And then the light phenomena that sometimes would appear and then transition into physical craft, which I always argue in the point now, that I think the predecessor, and I think Nick agrees with me, Nick Cal now, through the work that we've done, the predecessor does seem to be light phenomena, the true face of the phenomena. I suppose for the other things that might manifest, seems to be associated with the light phenomena. That might be the true face of this phenomena, to be honest with you, before we get to see, one of 4,000 different types of beings which have been reported around the planet,
Yeah.
or, a dog man, a Bigfoot, an owl man, a moth man, you name it. They like to play games, but the problem is that we've always thought if we see it, therefore it's real. But then we really have to say what is real at the end of the day, because
Oh my gosh, it's
oh,
an endless, yeah, rabbit hole you go down with the terminologies.
yeah, it's very problematic, of course. I've had photographs that I have taken, Alex, and they've took the photograph from the camera. I've had voice recordings and they've taken it out from the voice recording. It's
Hmm.
gone. Video
My
recordings gone.
gosh.
They'll let you
Yeah.
know, and they're really fantastic. But then I think someone goes, no, it's a bit too good. Let's not let him have it. And you just take it off the recording devices. In fact, some of the recording devices are manipulated beyond the capacity. I've got a
Yeah.
specialized recorder called a Tascam. And with a
I
Tascam
mean,
recorder, for instance, you record 5 things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you wanted, and I get something really interesting on the third one, and then I think to myself, okay, I'm going to play, and then it's gone. But on a Tascam though, to delete the third audio recording, you have to delete 1, 2, and then 3 on
right.
this particular Tascam I'm using. There's no way that the device has the capability of going between files and taking one out, but they can. And it's even happened on CCTV footage at my house when they're hammering at my door like a bailiff, and there's nobody there, and they delete the CCTV camera footage at the time of the banging of the door.
Right.
Oh,
It's just
interesting.
they can do all sorts of things.
Yeah.
The intelligence that we deal with are much wider knowledge than we do. They talk about things outside our area of understanding,
Yeah.
so they are aware of things that we are unaware of. you know, and it cross pollinates across all subjects: cryptid, UFO, paranormal. You can have communications with things that they are aware of things like that when we might not be. You know, it
So
doesn't seem to be any, you know, limitations.
when you said or asked about the things that have spoken to me, like be careful that it's don't, it's the same voice, but and you said it could be the guides, it could be, but where does that equate with the UFO?
Well, sometimes guides can interact. Guides can be
Yeah.
the middle ground between them and you in some
Okay.
cases, because sometimes they will communicate. If you've got a guide, sometimes they can communicate with a guide, and that will communicate with you. You know, they did it in Skull. I mean, the Skull had a spirit team that were helping with the seances, but the spirit
Okay.
team were answerable to another team, which were non-human intelligence.
God.
And there was an order of 13
Oh,
individuals, which is similar to the, you know, common associated. So they were communicating with them, and they were communicating with Robin and his team. We see with him. So
right.
yeah, there was, like I say, there's a hierarchy in the sense of speaking. So, well, what do you do? Where do you put those incidents where Bigfoot has been seen with a UFO, where people have been alien abduction experiences and seen Bigfoot on the craft? You know, where people have witnessed driving down the road a Bigfoot turn into a ball of light and shoot off at high speed.
Oh gosh.
Where do we put those incidents? What box do we put them in?
Yeah.
And the problem is, someone out there would be daft enough to say, "Let's create another box." No, there should not be any boxes. That's the problem, is the boxes, because we're too caught up in thinking, "Oh, that's got to be UFO, that's got to be paranormal." Most people that have UFO sightings for more than 45 minutes are destined for paranormal phenomena. Many people that reported in Project Blue Book many years back would say, "Look, we saw this craft. It was in the sky for about 45 minutes. It was over the farm, and then it moved off." But they're reporting this incident. But what they're not saying, yeah, is that they had a poltergeist phenomena for a week or two afterwards, very
Interesting.
prominent. So
Hmm.
eventually, they start to come forward to the Project Blue Book officers and say, "Look, you know, by the way, we had some poltergeist type stuff going on in the house after the UFO incident." And the guys have turned around and say, "Look, Mrs. Brown, just don't know ghosty stuff. Just stick to the UFO, please." Compartmentalization has been done on purpose. It's been done that many years ago so that we can't connect the dots. Because once you start to connect the dots, you realize that we're dealing with all of this is all one great big puzzle, which is all about
Yes.
consciousness
Yep.
and connectivity throughout the
Yeah.
mechanism.
Yeah.
That's what they
Yeah.
don't want us to realize, is broad.
Exactly, Steve. Yeah. Well, and that's one thing that I know Ray Hernandez kind of, again, speaks to, when he refers to, it's all one interrelated phenomenon. And if you think about it, exactly is that. Yeah.
It really, really
It's,
is. Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I've
I
been
believe that.
about a year or so ago now. I was sat watching television, and I had that urge, that sudden feeling to get up, go outside the back,
Hmm.
and again I saw something. In fact, I got bored and came in because it was up there about 20 minutes. I left it. I left it there. Probably a bit ignorant, really. That night, though, I got up about 2:30, quarter to 3, I think it was. Not too short time it was, really. And I went to the bathroom and came back, got into bed, and I just turning over when an arm came up from underneath it, through the bed, as if something was in the bed.
Oh my gosh.
Came through the bed and wrapped around, and the other one came up and wrapped around here. And I was struggling with this thing, trying to get this damn thing off me for a good couple of minutes or so.
Gosh.
I was furious, it was,
Oh,
you
jeez.
know, and it's literally a wrestling match in the bed. And but then I think to myself, okay, so what happened within 5 hours? Well, I saw that in the back garden in the sky, and then that happens that night, early hours in the morning. And I thought, no, I don't believe these. You know what? There's a lot more to this. It's not coincidences. You
Hmm.
know, there's definitely patterns to events, and they are associated paranormal and ufological things.
Do you
Absolutely.
think that could have been a possible abduction attempt, Steve?
No, I don't think so. I don't recall. I don't think I've ever had that type of experience.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't know what it was. It was like it was a determined effort for some reason. And I don't really know what that reason was. Only the fact that maybe because I was ignorant and shut the door and I went back in and something is connected to that. I don't know. I really haven't got all the
We're going to
answers.
get this guy's attention one way or another.
Yeah, but it got my attention, all right. I was furious, So there are still people out there that have this divide that they don't think that paranormal phenomena has any association with the UFO phenomena, for example. I mean, you got small beings that, you wake up at night. Most experiences of alien abduction around about what you refer to as the 3 o'clock period, the 3 o'clock a.m. phenomena, which is really a mockery of the Trinity in a sense of speaking. Well, we'll not go down that road, but it, you know, you know
Good.
what? They turn up in the middle of the night. They walk through a wall, or they come through the ceiling, and then they pick you up out of bed. Well, hang on a second. Are you physical or not? Or you see an apparition walk through the door, a closed door, and prod you in the neck. Hello, are you physical or not? And it's the same for the phenomenon of the craft. The craft is part of the phenomenon. It is not a vehicle to carry the phenomena. It is the phenomenon.
It is.
It's
Yes,
all
I agree.
encompassing. In many occasions, even sentient. So when we're dealing with the phenomena, which can sometimes come down, land on the ground, leave prints, just like Bigfoot leaves prints, but then Bigfoot has been seen to leave prints and then he disappears mid-stride and there's no prints. And you're thinking, and this is in snow, and you think, where did he go? These things are done on purpose. The dematerialization process is really like apports and everything else. They can fundamentally utilize that phenomenon for themselves to materialize and dematerialize, to be physical or not physical. This is why when there's been incidents of UFOs seen in the sky and there's fighter pilots there, and they're radioing back, and the radar system is picking the UFO up, and then suddenly it disappears off radar. But the pilot says, "Well, no, I can still see it," because all they've done is switch into a mode where they're not physical anymore. So radar signals are not bouncing off them because they're not physical, but they're still there. We've got to wrap our heads around about this physicality business. That just because we see them doesn't mean they're physical. And sometimes they are. They can switch. This is why we got UFOs going into water, not splashing, not making any wakes, disappearing on radar, going past literally within feet of other aircraft, not leaving a wake in the sky. This is the reasons why, because they can just switch. We're dealing with a phenomena that can switch in with, utilize the physics that we have in our environment and then switch out of it. But we still see the echo of them. We still see the physicality of them, yet they're not physical. They've just stepped out of the box of our reality, in a sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Steve, where do you weigh in the idea of dimensions? We all basically, are taught there's 3 dimensions. Now, people are out there doing research and they're claiming there are 11 dimensions or more. Curious, your thoughts on that.
I mean, when we first communicated, one of the very first sessions, I think it was, of communications with NHI, they told us there was 11 dimensions. At this time.
Oh, interesting.
At this time, as known, there are 11. I thought, okay, why did they say that? Because there's probably more.
Yeah.
But what happens is that most transcend down to 11. If there's more, they do tend to turn it down. It seems like that is a principal dimension, 11. However, I was talking with an associate with the CERN collider, Hadron Collider. And I was told that they are at the collider up to 18. 18 dimension. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. I'm
building
a new one, actually. The biggest one in the world is being.
Oh God. I don't know. That kind of worries me a little bit.
Yeah,
what's going on there.
Humans do that, don't they? There was tests done years ago by putting people in a in a room with a button there, a red button said, do not push whatever you do. And I don't think people can get past 30 minutes, to be honest with you, without doing it. You know, we just can't help ourselves. I mean, it's like the Oppenheimer movie about the realism of creating the atomic bomb. They didn't know what was going to happen. In fact, they said to Oppenheimer, could blow up the earth. What did they do? Well, let's make it anyway. This is the problem with human society. And sometimes people get their fingers burned. And they learn the hard way, and it causes damages which are irreversible sometimes, or it takes for hundreds and thousands of years to reverse it in environmental scale. So, yeah, I can believe that. I do. I am aware of certain things that are taking place worldwide. Take care. Bye for now.
Good night, Steve. Thank you. Great show.